If you bought a camper van in 2024, there's a good chance you overpaid by 5 figures. And if you're about to buy one in 2026 without understanding what actually changed, you're about to make the same mistake. I'm going to show you the 3 fundamental shifts nobody's talking about, and which vans are actually worth buying right now. Section 1. The price collapse nobody saw coming. Here's what happened. In late 2023 and early 2024, manufacturers like Winnebago, Thor, and Pleasureway were still pricing their Class B camper vans like we were in the middle of the pandemic shortage. Base models were pushing into 6 figures. Mercedes Sprinter-based builds from premium brands were legitimately hitting $250,000. But interest rates killed demand. Nobody wants to finance a van at 8% when their monthly payment looks like a mortgage. Inventory piled up, dealers panicked, and by mid-2025, the discounting started hard. Now, in 2026, the market has corrected by 15 to 20% on many models if you negotiate properly. That's not a minor adjustment, that's years of depreciation hitting all at once. That's why so many 2024 buyers feel fine today and frustrated 6 months later. But here's what most buyers are missing. While prices dropped, something else changed that matters way more. Section 2. The build quality gap. Here's the part nobody wants to admit. Some 2026 vans are objectively worse than the same models from 2 years earlier, and the buyer has no easy way to see it before signing. This doesn't apply to every trim or every unit, but it's a clear trend across multiple manufacturers. Let me give you real examples. Certain popular models switched from premium Truma heating systems to cheaper suburban furnaces. All-metal cabinetry got replaced with laminate over wood cores that'll swell the first time you get moisture intrusion. Battery capacity dropped on some builds while keeping the same solar input, which means you're getting less capability with the same marketing story. Same name on the brochure, worse van in reality. And once you sign, that downgrade is permanent. Would you notice this on a dealer lot? Probably not. The sales sheet looks identical. The layout photos are the same, but the component suppliers changed. The build specs quietly downgraded. And this isn't just one brand. Roadtrek went bankrupt and got bought out, so newer models are essentially different vehicles wearing familiar badges. Other manufacturers changed suppliers mid-production year. Ask yourself this, if the dealer doesn't tell you, how would you even know? Now here's where it gets interesting, because there's actually one segment that did the complete opposite. Section 3. The European Advantage. The European vans, specifically the VW Grand California and the newer Mercedes Marco Polo variants, actually improved between 2024 and 2026, and there's a reason for that. European emission standards tightened in 2025, so manufacturers had to re-engineer their drivetrains anyway, and while they were doing that, they upgraded the interior tech, improved the insulation specs, and standardized features that used to be expensive add-ons. The 2026 Grand California 600 now comes standard with the diesel heater, upgraded Thinsulate insulation, and enhanced solar capability. 2 years ago, those were all paid options that added thousands to the build. In other words, European buyers got engineering upgrades. American buyers mostly got cost control. But here's the catch. You're paying more, waiting longer, and still fighting dealer markups, but in this case, you're actually getting a better product. Those European vans are harder to get in the US now because of tariff uncertainty and import logistics. So even though they're legitimately better, availability is a nightmare, which is why these don't sit on lots, they're pre-sold. You're looking at 6 to 9 month waits, and dealers are adding market adjustments because they know supply is tight. So here's the controversial part nobody wants to say out loud. Section 4. The surprising truth. A growing percentage of informed buyers in 2026 should actually be buying used 2022 to 2023 models instead. Here's why. Those vans were built during the peak demand period, when manufacturers couldn't afford to cut quality because customers were paying full price and had options. A well-maintained 2022 Pleasureway or 2023 Winnebago build was constructed better than many current models, and they're now listed at 30 to 40% below their original sticker because owners are selling in a down market. You're getting peak-era build quality with post-correction pricing. This isn't nostalgia, it's economics and manufacturing reality. Does that sound like an upgrade to you, paying more for less? The only reason to buy new in 2026 is if you need the latest emissions technology, or if you're financing and need the warranty protection. But if you're paying cash or putting significant money down, used 2022 to 2023 is the smart play. Now, if you're dead set on buying new, there are two vans I would actually consider: the Thor Sequence 20L and the Winnebago Echo. Why? Because those platforms didn't exist in the high-quality era, so there's no better used version to compare against. And both manufacturers kept the specs relatively consistent because they were still ramping up production. They couldn't afford to cheapen them yet. Section 5. Who should buy what? So let's make this tactical. If you're retired and planning full-time travel, buy a used 2022 diesel Sprinter-based build. You want the reliability of the older engine platform, and you want the build quality before the cost-cutting started. You're looking at significant savings compared to new with better long-term components. At this stage, reliability and predictability matter more than being current. If you're a family doing weekend trips, don't buy a Class B at all. You'll outgrow it in 2 years. Get a used truck camper or a small Class C. You'll save tens of thousands and have more actual living space. Be honest, how many weekends a year would you actually use it? If you're under 40 and want to try van life before committing, buy the cheapest used ProMaster-based build you can find from 2020 to 2021. Drive it for a year, you'll learn what you actually need, then sell it and upgrade. You'll lose less money this way than buying new and realizing you hate cooking in 15 square feet. If you must buy new in 2026, only consider the Thor Sequence 20L, Winnebago Echo, or if you can wait and pay the premium, the VW Grand California 600. Everything else is a compromised product in a transitional market. Look, the campervan industry is in a weird spot right now. Prices are falling, but so is quality on many models. Inventory is high, but the good stuff is getting picked over, and manufacturers are playing games with model names to make you think you're getting the same van you saw reviewed in 2023. You're not, and the gap between perception and reality is where buyers lose money, quietly. The smartest buyers in 2026 are the ones who understand that new doesn't automatically mean better right now. It just means you're paying for depreciation on a product that might not be as well built as what came before it. So, do your homework, check build dates, compare component suppliers, and don't be afraid to walk away from a dealer who's pushing 2026 inventory hard. They're motivated for a reason. Here's my question for you. If you're shopping right now, are you looking at new 2026 models or going the used route? I'm seeing a clear split between buyers who feel smart right now and buyers who feel rushed. Which side are you on, and what pushed you there? Drop a comment. The market is moving fast, and I think we're going to see even bigger changes by the end of the year.